Rockpooling is one of the staple activities of a day at the beach in Britain, but it is not often realised that these simple looking environments are one of the most dynamic and challenging habitats in the UK. Throughout the course of a day, temperature, acidity, salt content and even the amount of dissolved gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide vary significantly, meaning the animals and plants living there are much tougher than you may think. Soft and squidgy, the sight of a beadlet anemone out of the water is a familiar one to most. Stranded up on a rock, they may look like blobs of jelly, but once the tide comes in, they begin to show their true colours. These beautiful wafting tentacles got the sea anemones their name by resembling the anemone plant, but despite their beauty, they certainly pack a punch. The tentacles contain a special type of cell called a nematocyst, which can inject prey with a highly toxic venom that is administered via a barb that can be ejected at speeds of up to 2 meters a second. The anemones use these stinging tentacles to stun small crustaceans and fish before moving them inside themselves where they digest the food and extract the nutrients. Not only are these anemones very specialised predators, but they are highly territorial and regularly compete with each other for the best feeding spots. Recent research has shown that during these matches, anemones are able to make decisions about who they fight depending on the relative size of their opponent. It has been discovered that some anemones will consistently avoid a fight, whereas others are always up for a scrap. The excitement all ends as the tide moves out again and the anemones retreat back into themselves, waiting for the next high tide to begin the process again. Anemones are not the only organisms well suited to this tidal landscape. The common shore crab is the most abundant crab species in the UK, and any rockpooling trip is likely to end up in an encounter with these common crustaceans. One of the main components of their diet is mollusks. These mollusks protect themselves from the crabs with a tough shell made from calcium carbonate. They use their claws to crush the shells and eat them, and these forces generated by the crabs is one of the strongest forces in the animal kingdom, which makes confrontations between them all the more interesting. The crabs scope each other out, assessing the size of each other's pincers. The crab with the bigger pincers will usually win the fight, so this is a very important moment. The smaller crab moves in, but soon seems to realise its mistake, and a hasty retreat is in order. Another surprisingly interesting animal among the rockpools is the winkle. At low tide, these winkles hunker down on the rocks and seal themselves into their shell. But as the water comes in, they come to life. The winkles move around like this to find food. As they move along, they scrape algae off the rocks through the use of their radula, the mollusk equivalent of a tooth-covered tongue, and digest it, before excreting it from their anus, which is bizarrely above their head. Finding food takes up most of their time whilst the tide is in, but when the water levels begin to drop, the whelks like to go back home. While they're out foraging, they lay down a layer of mucus, which they can then follow back to their original home and settle down to wait out the tides once more. Over the course of a day, a lot changes in the world of the rockpool, but the animals found there have always managed, and hopefully they always will.